Alright guys, good morning, game of the day. I only played one game this morning, it's this one. I thought it was pretty cool, so we're going to show it off now. I'm on Firebrand. I again was trying to queue Mesmer, however, GS Mesmer I really don't like on Skyhammer. It's alright, but there's a lot of obstruct and a lot of very quick long range obstructs people can get access to very frequently, so I decided not to do that. Looking at our comp, having decided to re-roll, you see we've got a Hollow, who could be good on a side point. We've got a Core Guard who probably roam around and burst people. We've got a Spellbreaker who would definitely be good on a side point, and a Rev. And I figured I would play Firebrand because what I wanted to do was support the Rev, essentially treating this as my DPS carry. It's not a Scourge, in which case I would instantly, go Firebrand. Rev's a little bit trickier because it's more mobility oriented. It does snap around a bit more and it can be harder to sort of keep up and to really be on par with them. But I think this can be totally viable. So what I do is I load into Firebrand. I also think Firebrand's pretty good on Skyhammer in terms of the map design. And I basically just said to them, I pinged them and said, I'm going to treat you like a Scourge. And they said, okay. And you'll see that in response to that, they actually decided to go Berserker Amulet as well, which is, I think, interesting for a game of the day. So we'll see how we do. There's some tome clunkiness here, because I haven't played Firebrand really a lot for a while. But yeah, so let's run on in. This is Plat 2 EU, towards the end of a season where people are getting to start caring about the titles since they're available again now. So, people are trying here. I'll put it that way. So on the start, our warrior picks up close. The rest of us are looking for mid. I make sure I got swiftness and my mantras up. I go into the tome F3. I don't actually use any pages yet. I'm waiting for the first Aegis to pop. If we use our 5, we would just replace Aegis with more Aegis, so I don't really want to do that. He comes to a nice kite location. I see a net shot, so I know that Hollow's nearby. So I'm going to use the 5 for a bit of stab, because they can do that quite quickly. And here I'm trying to cast the bubble, because that would be really good that we can kite into versus a Hollow or whatever. You see that they've basically all engaged on us like this, and this is nice. Being a Firebrand means I can actually keep this guy alive, right? If I'd gone other classes, I wouldn't be able to do this so well. But I have to cancel cast my own thing because of some animation I wanted to dodge there, I think. I take a little bit more block and taunt. I come up to kite. I realize the Rev hasn't, and he's got more focus than me, so I drop down. Now he's gone up to kite, so I give myself stab and push up with him. Just trying to get my mantras on him, basically. And there won't be too much pausing today because we're more going to be discussing rotations and stuff. So he pushes to the side. He's a little bit low. I make sure I stay with him. I'm staying with him as best as possible. I go for the cleave. Press F and realize it's completely unnecessary. I'm only just going into the heal tome here for what it's worth at the first time this fight. We spam our pages out to get everyone healed up. And now what I'm going to do is just drop the tome. Just get rid of it, because that last cleanse I did there was to, in case there was any movement condies on people, just to get them out of combat as fast as possible. And then I dropped the tome because I want that cooling down for when the next fight establishes. And don't forget, the cooldown on these tomes has actually increased quite a lot with recent patches. So here we've won mid. And I think that now actually my whole team's making a mistake. I don't see us as being able to roam that fast. Now it's Skyhammer, so we can kind of do things because it's a fairly small map. However, personally, I think this is more of a 2-point team. I think we leave our Hollow in mid after we swing the team fight there, and he wards that. I think the Core Guard just rotates around at his own leisure, and I think we have the Spellbreaker on our close point in general. And I think we just watch that, and we just, me and the Rev at the team fight, and we just push wherever. And I think as a 2-point game, with obviously the occasional dip to hammers, for me and the Rev, I think we win this very easily. So right now, you'll see that close is actually in turbulence. But instead of going to close, like this is literally the situation here. We could have left one of these players towards mid to watch respawns, and we could have swung this back. But instead we push far, and you're not actually going to see me at close at all this game. Mostly because I would rather be rotating with kind of DPS carries rather than going to help my Spellbreaker that's there. And close is going to be struggling all game. So anyway, that's one rotational thing. The other is we push and we score this kill on the roads. And now the Rev is rotating away, probably looking for close. You'll see we don't get there in time. I have a big moment of decision making here as well, and there's a lot, and I'm not saying I make the right decision every time. I have a Hollow who's pushed far in a mirror, and the question is, do I want to go support that Hollow? The problem is Skyhammer on sides is there's so much kite potential there because of the pads. I'm not confident in this moment that I really want to support that Hollow 1v1. And I'm just going to trust him, A, to not die, and B, disengage if he's losing or he gets plussed by respawns. We're at least rotting this body. And realistically, I just want to say, because my Rev, here's the #1 priority. My Rev is super vulnerable without me. And it's kind of a toss-up whether I'll help. The other thing that's going through my mind is my Revenant has also made the determination that he doesn't want to support the 1v1. And he'd be better at supporting the 1v1 than me. If he pushed that, I wouldn't have made that a 3-man Zerg. I would have looked for something else to do. But so, since he's turned around, I'm just going to stay with him. And that's a kind of a decision I have to make a lot of times. Sometimes it's extremely simple playing Firebrand. Sometimes it's not. And I don't think that this game is too simple. So here we're getting decapped on mid. And he does what he can to get there in time. But we're not quick enough. Here I just want to make sure that he can keep so you might think this is an over rotation. What's basically happening here is me rotating in allows him to keep going ham, to never have to swap to staff, particularly is the big one. But so that he can just keep pressuring and not having to worry too much, and we can get the kill as quickly as possible. With the fact I have added CC, you can see I'm actually running Axe. I think last time you saw me on Firebrand, I was running Mace. I really like Axe. Since the 2v2 tournaments, I was looking at it more. And, I can get the CCs in, and I can, the Tome F1 if it was there and whatnot. So, yeah, anyway, we score the kill. Here I go into my F2 because I think I wasn't sure what was going on underneath. And I liked the idea of healing him with it from underneath, like with the 5, which I'm pretty sure is a big sphere. And after I cast it, I realized that, it was all said and done anyway. So this is really good here, 2v2. It's on the roads. We're basically defending mid. I think he got immobed there or something, maybe. I mean, the specific decision behind every single skill is tricky to talk about. But, yeah, we're just trying to keep him alive, and we're holding him against the Warrior. So the Warrior just tanking us like this is okay, but he knows he can't forever. The Warrior doesn't represent much damage, so I went into F1 there to help pressure, but the Warrior realized that was going to happen and kited off very smartly. So, here we've got close and we've got mid, okay? And there's a fight on far. So really this is a snowball to far if we can handle it. So I'm actually going to be pretty loose away from the Rev if I can right now. He ports in. I'm a bit late, really. If I'd been a bit quicker. The main thing right now is not actually cleaving that. It's healing my Guardian that's there. And we'll watch for Signet of Mercy. By the way, there's going to be a whiffed Signet of Mercy this game. You'll notice that my keybind for that slot, I've actually moved to my left hand instead of my right, which actually feels more on demand. It's kind of cool. And I've never really done that. It's on the C key for me, which I used to use for calling targets and whatnot. So anyway, whenever I play a new build now, or go back to an old build, my muscle memory is still for my right hand, the old bind, and not the left one. So you're going to see later that core guard dies because I try and mercy him, but I press the wrong key on my keyboard. So hammer's up, and we just want to secure this. I make sure I stay with the Rev. I hold that. My Guardian got into some trouble there while we went to hammer on far. But again, I can't really help him there. All right, I guess I decide this time I will help. Oh, yeah, okay. All right. See, I need to pause, guys, otherwise it gets on too ahead. Basically, we won hammer, which means everything will be neutral and there'll be big shots, right? Which means that this is going to be help for this Guardian. So that's on my mind. The other thing on my mind is this is free cap. And there's no need for me to stay with the Rev when it's free cap. So I look for another fight to support. And it can only be far point. So here we come to help this guy. And here, right now, I think I'm casting of Signet of Mercy. And I'm not casting Signet of Mercy. Now I realize that I've made a mistake. So I recast it, applied the stability for myself. We get the res, but it's late, alright? So anyway, that's why it took me a while to trigger that. It was just the keybind thing. And now I can support this. And this is okay too, for what it's worth. Yes, the Rev is vulnerable. But if both of those enemies stay with me, then in this fight, then that's very positive for our team. You'll notice something that's happening that's very cool here. Wherever I rotate, if it's equal numbers, one of the blue team leaves. Have you noticed that? Like, ever since the opening, what they're doing is rotating away from the Firebrand. And you'll see how effective that's been in leaving me a little bit lost and twisting in the winds. And it's put a lot of pressure on me to keep moving and be in the right places. That's what the enemy team's done by rotating properly. I can almost guarantee one of them said in chat, rotate away from the Firebrand. And watch, everywhere I go, the fights just suddenly fizzle out. And things don't necessarily manifest for us. So as soon as I rotated away from my guy who'd pushed far, he died. The thing is, I don't want to stay 2v1ing a warrior on frickin' Skyhammer. Anyway, so this guy's Daggerstorm. I'm trying to support my Rev. I use the shield 5 because that actually completely destroys all Daggerstorm damage. And this is really good potentially as well. We're actually outnumbered here. And the Hollow is like sitting on mid a bit more. I guess he's realized that one of us needs to be doing that, which is correct for his role, but he's so stagnant. He could push forward. He could provide covering fire for us, yeah. Anyway, that's a whole other story. This could actually be amazing. Now, if he's a Scourge, we get lots of AoE barrier and corrupting incapacitation that kind of helps us to ward this off a bit more. Because this thief is like only half a member of the team fight, basically, right? Or this outnumbered scenario. So we could win this, so I'm really excited about this. Because this could be a game win fully if we do it. We have the line of warding down, and the Rev does actually kite back over it, but I don't know if he did that accidentally. But we get a ton of knockdowns on it. Look at this. Look how beautiful this is. Ah, it's so good. Anyway, we're just trying to give Might. We're trying to heal him up. We get a down, but I don't have F1 because I've just been CC'd. I go for stab, and now my guy's down. And remember the Mercy we had to cast earlier? I don't have it for my Revenant because I cast it on the Guardian, which ultimately didn't manifest into anything because as soon as I Mercied it, they rotated away, re-established a 1v1 that was favorable to them, and then killed the Guardian. So the Rev died, and I couldn't do much. The Hollow comes in now, but it's a little bit late. And, yeah, we died. So I say it's my bad because I basically feel like I didn't use that Mercy resource properly. But also, I could have been standing... When I got CC'd before that Tome F1, I could have been standing away a bit and got into it and helped cleave that body. A lot of this is about counter pressure, okay? Like, you really need to use that effectively to keep people away, to thus reduce the damage you're getting. Here, by the way, as I'm running back to mid to support again, I see that the fight's come down here. And what I'm actually doing is I'm casting a line of warding over the area there, which means that my guy can kite around on it and be safe. I gave him swiftness as well. So here I'm merciful into... And you see this? You see how we're getting this? That's some sniper mouse gameplay there. I was actually going for the pad and everything, and it worked. I didn't even know if that was possible, but there you have it. Just a casual little nice peel I'm offering there. So, yeah, we're back with the Rev. Here we're getting decapped in mid for no reason whatsoever. Pretty different. Oh, I guess he was underground, so maybe there is a reason. So the Rev's pushed far, and I'm pretty sure it's empty, so I'm not going to go there. And this guy needs help, so I'm going to change up who my priority support target is. And as you can see, it was free cap, so this was the right decision for me. So we try and support. That guy's in Elixir S, and I think he's going to rotate off. Oh, okay. So also Hammer's up right now. So I want to support this so that he doesn't die. And he did very well, to be honest. He didn't really need my help. Then the game changes again because Hammer's up and I need to stop them getting Hammer and we need a big team fight. So I come down. I don't know. I guess because everything's neutral, I don't go for Hammer. I look so lost, don't I? I think I was looking to support close, but then I saw that we were dead on close anyway. And now this guy... Oh, yeah. Okay, so I thought that this guy had it and I realized that so much more else was important. People are split across 3 points. And what I said at the start, right, is that really puts a lot of pressure on my role and how we kind of work this. There's actually 4 hot engagements all at once there. Do I stall Hammer? Well, I'm not going to decide to do that if none of our allies there. Also, it was all neutral, so there will be a Hammer play in a second. It's just not now. I think I was thinking about going to close, but it was too late because the thief had out-rotated me. And then, you remember this was looking really positive and the Hollow had left? Well, he came back and he killed my friend up there, which is really trash for me. So I played really badly here. And then after I decided not close, I was going to go far because the Rev is in a fight. And I was like, maybe I can do something here. So this potentially could be good because I could Mercy the body because he's going for the bleed value. And then we win this. But the Hammer just went. And he died in Hammer range. So because the Hammer went, I can't do it. That's why you see I'm targeting the body. And now I can't do anything. And the guy's going to type in chat, I can't 1v1 this. Which is perfectly fair. My Rev scored a 1v1 on far. And I'm basically just apologizing in chat because that was my bad. Because I think this guy might get snowballed and in some danger. I know I'm being followed by this Guardian. So when I come here, there's still some value in this. But yeah, just in general, it's been pretty clunky and tricky to hold my feet here. We do still slightly have a lead. Because we have won just enough 1v1s. And we have won just enough of the team fights that we're slightly ahead. But so moving up. We need to keep this guy alive. Bit of a waste of Merciful there, probably. Healing up on the node with the staff 2. Get another line of warding down. It's up there, actually. I think I was trying to move it somewhere else. So we get another kill. So here's a really frustrating situation again. I think the team fighter should push off. I think the last person you should leave is a Firebrand. If you leave or any support, it could be Tempest too. Could be Ventari Rev, right? In a few patches, it will be meta, guys. So basically, you don't want to leave your support on the node after having won any kind of fight. Because if everybody leaves and the support is the one still there, he has no choice but to abandon it. And you're vulnerable to an easy decap. And the reason he has to abandon it is because he has no winning matchups in a 1v1. 0. All he can do is tank and blow cooldowns until eventually a plus comes in. And if it's the enemy team that pluses him, he's going to be low mobility, low on cooldowns. It's not necessarily going to go very well. There is no win condition. So it should always be... It should be any of the other classes that have a bit of 1v1 potential. At worst, it should be like the Scourge, or in our situation, the Rev that stays. So I'm pushing off, and everyone else also is... okay, I gave you that whole speech. Later on, they're gonna leave me to pick it up. I thought it was now. Anyway, so yeah, the Hollow stays. Perfect, for all the reasons I just explained. I helped support offensively here on that kill. I didn't actually need to heal or anything. I just wanted to get the CCs down and the extra pressure. So we secure that. This is perfect because the Thief's here. But as soon as... yeah, so this is a good fight. No, you see how, like, they just start kiting off? And really what I want to do is force this engagement on the nodes so that we can get some value on this one. And the problem here is the Rev is going for a kill on the Thief. And I understand why he's doing that. He's zerk He could just kill that straight away, especially if the passive's already been blown. So I'm now left sort of just kiting a Rampage Warrior. And I have to pace out my mantras for Aegis every time I anticipate a big hit. And I think I actually burned through the whole mantra set there. The Rev realizes it's a bit weird, and he comes towards me. I trigger a full counter with my staff symbol, which is a bad idea. We're now in a 2v2, and this is... sorry, we're in a 3v2. Okay, I think I died twice this game, and this is going to be the other one. And they're all focusing me very well. The mistake just occurred. Basically, I kited around here. This is still sort of my nature to flee the engagement fully. What I should have done is kited to the jump pad. If I'd kited to the jump pad, I would have A, been closer to my Rev, and B, I could have actually survived. And I'm bad at that. So basically, I came around here, and I've got them on me here. And, yeah, so I go down, and now the Rev is going to be massively outnumbered, and he goes down. We could have anticipated this, having just seen that we've basically won the rest of the map, and that respawns would have been due. But in general, I don't really like us being at fire at all. And so, anyway, that's our second wipe. I don't think you're going to see me die or us wipe in a fight again. But, yeah, generally really bad. Yeah, so we bleed ourselves out. You'll notice we do have the 2 cap, obviously. On respawn, my thinking on post-commentary is that I'd want to push towards mid, because that's where the heaviest incoming is going to be, and my Hollow's not going to be able to deal with it for very long. But he's already dead. But still, we're going to push mid, right? That's the better choice here. I think, anyway. So here, as I'm walking, obviously I want to keep my guy alive, but I realize that this isn't actually fully decapped yet, so I slip on it and stall this. So, the reason I'm doing... I just talked all about how you don't want to leave the Firebrand in this situation, blah, blah, blah. The reason I'm doing this is because no one immediately needs my help. I'm delaying this guy, and he's just come out of a big fight, so he's not going to have much aggression available, and I've just respawned and have everything available. Look at that, everything. So I'm just going to take 3 points for my team here until I'm actually needed somewhere else, is the point, right? So my Rev is in a 1v1 with a Warrior, and I can't do this for very long. What I'm thinking about right now in my little setup is stability, so that I don't get decapped. The Thief comes in. So I take a Mantra proc for a Smite condition to get rid of the Immob. So here, I'm just trying to kite the Thief for a second. And it's a stupid angle I'm trying to do this here. And anyway, I fall all the way in. I just give him free pressure. It's a bad idea. Obviously, the decap's gone through. And so now my priority is going to change to go to the Hammer. This also kites the Thief away for a second. I dodge in case he's going to use Sword 2 or something in on me. And so, yeah, now I come support the Rev. And this is good. This Hammer forces team fights. This forces them to team fight, and we've just put our team fighters on it, which is the dream. This is exactly what we want. So, and they have less capacity to deal with this. So, you know, I throw my heals out when I don't really need too much. The Spellbreaker's trying to kite away, so I go F1 and drop the field here, so that when he gets up to the last platform, it will cleave him. Dodge back onto the nodes. And again, there I'm just basically trying to proc Selfless Daring, which is the heal on dodge onto my hollow or something. Here I need to kite and survive while I re-establish some mantras and some things. The axe will go through the walls and pull and CC, so I throw it out, but I get a double evade there. Pretty unfortunate. I drop the axe too. That's mostly just to ward them away for a second. More heals and might for my team. And we've won the team fight. Now, we over-zerged that pretty hard. Here, I'm leaving. We got the hammer. That's good. And so now my idea is just to follow the Rev, basically. Throw a little bit of a heal on him as he's going up the pad. And again, we kind of push... So here I kind of like what the Rev does. Because he's basically spawn camping because he knows we just secured a couple of kills. And the hammer neutralized everything. So it's an interesting idea. Overall, I think if there was ever there's been a lot of moments to go back to close. Again, let me be very clear. My entire perspective on this is that we could have been engaging there a bit more, and this could have been a much easier game. But as a Firebrand, I don't really have too much control over that, right? So anyway, he's looking for the spawn camp. So I just make sure I support that. Our hollow gets free cap because we're on the spawn camp. We take mid. Core Guard comes in and bursts. I mean, Core Guard just feels so limp when it's against a Firebrand. Any kind of dedicated support. Especially Tempest, actually. Well, not really. It depends. Well, their stab up time's pretty high. Anyway, so we're going to secure this kill. I'm just going to keep pressuring. Staff does more damage than you'd realize, I think, since the overhaul in 2018. Another big change of 2018 people often forget about. So anyway, we cleave that, and it is a guard. There's Guardians you kind of got to treat like Rangers a little bit. And it is near their spawn. And there could be an SD thief that stealths and just, you know, starts raising that up. So I just throw a little bit of extra something there. I keep putting swiftness symbols on this guy. That's just muscle memory from supporting scourges. He is a rev. He basically has perma swiftness on his own. So, but anyway, you see that it's very sudden kill there on that hollow. That's a good example of what a zerk rev can do. I think that's a really interesting side of this video. Like, basically designating someone else as your big DPS, because people are that's a role in Guild Wars. I think that the entirety of Conquest balance would be so much more healthy and interesting if there were like 4 or 5 well-regarded builds in that Scourge slot, and there's just kind of not. Here we go. This is where I'm being left to cap. Do you see how I click the Guardian here? The Guardian is the person I think that should stay in this situation, so me and the Rev can go and swing something, namely close. Or maybe we can go to reinforce far. That hollow is going to have people coming against him in a second. Yeah, like, I think that if there were a lot that were really, really well respected in that slot, and Rev kind of gets sort of a half look in, but not much of one. Basically, what I'm talking is massive damage, high vitality, low mobility builds. That's what needs to exist with high AoE capacity as well. That's the slot that really I think the devs should be balancing for. And Scourge gets away with a lot because of Barrier and Corrupt on top of its high vitality, low mobility, blah, blah. But that combo of high vitality, low mobility makes them a support dream, and then they just need to justify themselves with damage and whatever. Anyway, so the Revs against the Thief. I can't do too much. It's the Hammer that I need to support here. Sorry, this has been a weird game of the day. I'm not even really talking about the game much. We're going to support this. We're going to dip on and off as best we can, essentially trading. Here I'm just trying to, you know, I'll stand on the corner there. I'm trying to not get cleaved at the same time. They're in renewed focus. I full heal my Guardian. So this is kind of nice as well. This has got nothing to do with the Rev combo. But this is a 2v2 where you got to support Core Guard beating out Core Guard Warrior. You know, we should have a winning matchup in basically any 2v2. So we take that. The Rev helped clean up. I leave with him. So here I know we've just been, with the way we've been scoring kills, I know that mid is going to get decapped. And all we need to win the game is mid. We got the hammers going to neutralize everything else. So there's no priority except to get onto mid. There's none. So as I come up, I see the decaps going through. So what I do here is I get on the jump pad. You can see my cursor. I swing the cursor as fast as possible and click. And then what I do is I take a target, okay? And the reason I've done this is if the Rev is on the ball with me and has been thinking about the same thing, he can take target and use his port and stop the decap. But he's not, and he kind of just, he could have just stood at the hammer basically, and then he could have ported up. This is one of those moments where I wonder if I didn't have my PvE FOV tailored for a Let's Play that's been on pause for a while, if I'd actually changed that at any point for these PvP games, if it would have done better. But anyway, between the two of us, we can kill the thief. The thief's in a horrible situation, if you think about it. And now the enemy team's in a horrible situation where their only saving grace is to trickle in to a massively zerg, so, you know, point B. And all we have to do is score a kill. We get 5 points and win. So I go F1 for the pressure, and I just try and chain CCs on the Spellbreaker as much as possible. Another strength of Firebrand. And with the Stomp, at the end of the game, we do win in the end. So I really liked this game and showing you all this because of what a mess it was and how tricky the role was to execute. And I think I made a lot of terrible decisions rotationally there, probably. But I think it came as a sort of a general extension of the way the game was going in general. Anyway, so if you check it out, I got almost 600k heal, 13 kills, 2 deaths, 1 revive. Not much value out of Mercy, honestly. It's funny, I've been playing so much of that Mesmer build, I'm used to seeing like 5 or 6 revives a game now. And this looks pathetic. Yeah, so because Illusion of Life counts as a revive, even if ultimately at the end of the 15 seconds they're not alive, by the way, so it kind of inflates that stat in a weird way. But yeah, a cool Skyhammer game, lots of stuff to talk about. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you for another game of the day as the season winds down tomorrow.